screen line?
I can see your screen.
Okay. Now, hello.
Hello.
Peace Systems. Welcome to our module, which is an ERP. It can be able to manage petrol station, it can manage hotel, it can manage hospital, school, any inventory module, or any vertical enterprise. Now, if we pump directly to the pump station, here you have the pump station. Now, you can be able to run more than one company. Our ERP allows you to run a multi-company setup. So you can be able to have more than one company, and you can be able to manage everything from there. So in the pump station, you need one to create the stations or the branches that you have. Now in your scenario, maybe you can say my first branch is called built here. And then from there, you can be able to define all the pumps that are there. Now, after you define the pump station, you come here and define all the tanks that are there. The tanks is where now you put your diesel and petrol, the PMS and the LSD. So you can define maybe tank 1 is for petrol, tank 2 is for petrol, tank 3 is for diesel, like that. From there now you have to define your tanks, sorry, your pumps, rather. Now when you define your pumps, the pumps now will be linked to the tank. So for example, I can say now my first pump is pump 2 for petrol, it's A. Now, to give you a quick picture of what I mean by a pump, if you see here, this is the picture of a pump station. This is what you call a pump. Now, if you see this image, a pump in a fuel station, if you check on, let me just put fuel station pump. Pump. So this is what I'm calling the pump. Now, this pump has two nozzles. The first nozzle is for petrol. The second nozzle is for diesel. This is now in my scenario what I'm calling pump 1. Now I can go now, if this is the petrol station, I can see, like for example, let's say this is our petrol station we are talking about. This is pump 1, this is pump 2, this is pump 3. So at the end of the day, this pump has two nozzles. One is for diesel, one is for petrol. And it has two sides, side A and side B. The same case applies to this pump and the same case applies to either of the pump. So this is what I'm trying to say here, that in this station, I have a tank. And now in this tank, I can have more than one pump, such that at the end of the day, even if I was to say I want to group by tanks, I can be able to say each tank has how many pumps. So I can say my tank 1 is linked to how many pumps? It's linked to pump 2 and pump 3. Maybe tank 2 is linked to pump 1 only. And maybe tank 3, which is for the diesel, it has 4 pumps, and tank 2, it has 2 tanks. So at the end of the day, what now follows that is we need now to set up the shifts. Shifts, maybe most of the petrol stations usually have more than one shift. Maybe we can say we have a morning shift that runs from 8 a.m. maybe to 4 p.m. Then we have another shift, and maybe we have 2 shifts or 3 shifts. Like in my scenario, I'm gonna explain on 2 shifts. So you define the shifts here. Then from there, now you start putting your readings. You can either determine or decide to use the tank reading first, and then you can put the pump reading. Now, every day there's something called dipping. Dipping is where now you have a dipstick. Then you go and dip on your tank, fuel station tank. This is what I mean a tank in the fuel station. Now, anytime when you design now the fuel station, there are the tanks that holds now your fuel. Then it is them that are redirected now to your pumps. These are the tank cylinders. So this tank can be linked to a pump. Maybe it is linked to pump 1, pump 2, like that, like that, like that. So in the morning, there is something called reconciliation of your fuel, such that at the end of the day, you need to do what is called dipping. So you come here and you have to define. Like if I say, let me say create, I'll say, which is the tank that I'm talking about, tank 1. What is the date? Date may be 6. Let's say it's date 6. So automatically I'll select who is the person who is doing the dipping, and I can say maybe whether it's morning shift or evening shift. If I have any purchases within this day, I'll put my purchases here. And even if I don't put my purchases here, since this is an ERP, any purchases that you do from the purchases module will automatically be updated here in the purchases logic. Because when you're doing the web stock reconciliation, you'll always consider opening dip, you add the purchases, you minus the sales. Sales is what you have sold through the pumps. Then you will add what you call the return to tank, RTTS. Then you get your closing book value. You less against the closing reading, what is the deep reading, and then you get your stock variance or the wet stock reconciliation variance. So assuming now I say my closing for this maybe tank 1, previously here I can be able to see the closing is that 1,000. So I can say maybe today it has closed with that 2,000 liters, or because I have some purchases, I can say it has closed with that 3,000. So automatically what happens is it will now pick for me the opening. What becomes the closing? The closing for the previous season or the previous day is the closing for the other day or for date 5th. So automatically, if I say I'm doing the dips for today for this tank 1, automatically this becomes my opening. So I don't need now to put the opening again. I just need to put the closing, and automatically it will tell me the expected sales, how much I'm expected to have sold from this tank. Now I'll go on like that for all the tanks, and I can be able to do a tabulation at the end of the day in such a way that at the end of the day I can be able to get the tank reading tank-wise every day. So I can maybe say tank 1. These are the purchases that I've done within the period, leadings, and against the expected sales. So these expected sales, I can also be able to reconcile. Maybe I can say for the month of April, I can say date 1, date 2, like that. I can go to any other day that I want, like that. Now, if I go to the pump reading, we check on the pump reading with me. Here still the same, I can be able to get the same. The same logic applies. So if I want to put my readings, I'll just come and say create. And we can be able to automate this in such a way that if we have a console, automatically it can read from the pump and automatically write to the system, so that you don't have now to have someone in the office sitting to put the readings or to put the readings manually. So I can say maybe pump 2 for petrol A. Pump 2 for petrol A, in this scenario, I can see the closing was 56,633. This is the reading, the manual reading. We usually have 3 readings. You have the manual reading, you have the electronic cash, and the digital reading. So either of these is the reading. So automatically, if I say maybe my next day is 6th, and I see the person who is operating this is Irene, and maybe we're getting on the morning shift. So if I put my closing shift to be maybe 56,993, automatically it will calculate for me the expected sales against the opening reading. So it will pick the opening reading automatically. What was the closing for previous day becomes my opening reading. Then it will do the tabulation, and I'll be able to know. Again, if this is my selling price of the fuel per liter for the PMS, that is petrol, I'll be able to know. Then I expect this person to have sales worth how much at the end of the day. So basically that is the logic on the pumps, and then automatically you can be able to get all these reports. Like maybe you can get pump reading day-wise and tank-wise. So I can say tank 1. During this day, it has how many pumps attached to it? It has 4 pumps, pump 2 and pump 3, and I can be able to say pump 2 what it has sold within the period, and I can be able to get even for the pump 3 within the period, and the variances or the amount is that I need to get from each of the staffs or the pump attendants. These are the pump attendants per day. So at the end of the day, you can be able to get in the favorites. If you try to customize some reports, you can be able to get pump reading day-wise. So this is pump reading day-wise. You can be able to get tank-wise, day-wise, and tank-wise. Then you can be able to get staff-wise. Now this one will show you all the staffs and how much they have corrected. So if I want to see which staff who is doing better or who is serving my customers better, I'll come and say maybe I want to see this Diana. I'll select on Diana. I can see how many pumps she has been assigned to, and I can be able to tell the sales she has collected. If I want to go per day, I'll just click on the pump, and I can be able to see what is the days that this lady was operating on this pump, and I can be able to see that. Now, apart from that, I can now be able also to get the pump day-wise sales. So I can say maybe let's go to May. Let's say even May 6th or May 5th. I can be able to say this May on this day, this is what I've done. Ruth was on hot pump. She was assigned to 3 pumps. The other rider was on hot pumps, and how much correction was done during that period. And I can be able to do my reconciliation. So at the end of the day, we can be able to get what we call the tank reports. So here I'll come and select, maybe I want to go from first. Maybe you can say up to date. And I can see for all the tanks. If I want all the tanks, I'll leave this blank, this field blank. But still, I can be able to select for what station that I want. And if I want for specific tank, I just select. So in our scenario, I want us to select for all the tanks. Tank 3 and tank 4. Then all the ships. Then I just click on print. So if we open on this, we'll be able to see all the analysis, what we call the well stock reconciliation. We are now analyzing the tank against the pump, against the sales that have been done against the purchases during the period. So you'll see what we get here is this report now. It will have grouped by tank. So tank 3. What is the date? Date 5th. Opening dip was 4,250. We had no purchases. We had pump sales. These are the pumps that are attached to this tank. They made a sales of 1,760 liters. So the book stock becomes what? 2,000. Well, how do we get this? Opening, add purchases, you minus sales, you get the book stock. But now we did a dipping, what we say called closing dip. When we did a dipping, it means we have a variance of 9,000, 9,000, 9,028. This is a variance positive of 79. Now we need to follow up on this. This now best describes that maybe there is a purchase that was put or that it has not been considered, which we need now to reconcile. Now let's use another good case scenario of this tank 2. The opening is 13,105 liters. It had no purchases. We sold 4,806 liters to the pumps that are attached to it, and we closed with 12,659.77. This is the variance between this against the dips plus the purchases. Now we get the book value. If you less the closing this is the closing dip. The variance between the closing dip minus the book stock is what you call the variance. So automatically this is what you're supposed to have at any given time. All right. Any question, please?
Can you show the account side?
Can you show? Yeah, the accounts. Now let me go now to the accounts. Now before I go to the accounts, you notice here there is something we calling the discount report. This discount reports allows pump station owners to be able to give discounts to their customers or to their royal customers. How? If I jump to the accounts, this is the dashboard. This is what we call the dashboard. You can be able to get the dashboard about all your net profit, total income, total expenses, and reconciled items. You can be able to see your bank or cash and bank. That is the cash at hand. The summaries that you have, the invoices that have been paid against those that have not been paid, annually, monthly, you just need to pop on this, and then automatically it can be able to filter that for you. And you can be able to double click on either of these and you'll be able to get where you're getting this information from. Now, if I go back now here, we said if we go now to our customers here, if we select either of the customer, what we've done in our system, we've tried to create a logic in such a way that we can be able to give our good customers some discount. How? Here, we set a field of how we want to enable our customers to get discounts on every purchase of per liter. It's like a giveaway. We train like to do a giveaway to the customers that we are serving so that we can have as many customers as possible. So what happens in our account or in our, when you are making the invoice, when you're making the invoice, if you come here, you'll select on the customer, maybe let's say it's this, and then you can select the date that you're doing the invoice for the client. Then you can put, maybe you want maybe to hold the reference for the vehicle. Maybe you can see the vehicle is KAX112W. Then we'll come here and select the item. We'll set into this guy. It's diesel. How many liters we're giving him is 30 liters. And maybe this is the price, and we are giving him a discount of 35 shilling per liter. So automatically, you notice the system will automatically calculate how much discount are we giving. But now, notice this client will pay the total amount that is supposed to be paid. This, because it's a giveaway, it's an expense to the company or to the client, to the customer himself, to the client himself. Meaning, this does not affect. So the client will have to pay the full amount. That is the 30 times 3230. He'll have to pay the full amount. But now automatically, the discount will be discounted or will be reduced automatically from the discount allowables, that is debited from the discount allowables against the account receivables, that's the accounts logic. But I want you to understand that this is a discount that is given to a customer, such that at any given time, we can be able to tell how many customers we have given discount at any given time. This one is like a promotion that we are giving to the customers so that they can be our loyal customers. I can decide not to give the discount, and you can be able to preset this in such a way that anytime the customer is being invoiced, the charges does not change automatically. So you notice the value remains the same. So automatically you do this, you just click on save and confirm. So maybe you can say save, and we confirm on this, and we can confirm on this. And notice, please, here we have the pump project. We can be able to select the pump that we are making these sales for, or the pump that we are selling from. Now, if we say save and confirm, this one generates an invoice for us. And now we can be able to we can either set this on email and print it, or we can just give a link to the customer so that they can be able to make a payment directly. So we just generate a payment link and we share with the customer, and they can be able to pay automatically from their comfort of their phone or wherever they are. And we can be able to do the reconciliation to the bank, or we can link to the bank and they can make the bank payment from there. Now, here what happens, they can be able either now to do a register payment or add a credit note to this. If you say register payment, maybe you want to pay part of the payment. So we can say this customer wants to pay 50,000 and automatically he's paying through cash at hand, or maybe even using mobile money. And we can see the bank account or whatever we are referring to, and you can put some memo. The memo now in our scenario will be the reference of the invoice. So automatically, if you say create payment of 50,000 TC, if we click, automatically you notice it is telling you that it will keep it open because you've done a partial payment. This is a partial payment. So automatically, it will leave you with a running balance, such that at the end of the day, even if we come to see all the invoices you've done during the day, we can be able to see a list summary of what has been happening during the day. So if I say maybe I want to have a filter, or maybe I want to see invoice by date, maybe I want to see, I want to do a group by invoice date, day-wise. So if we go here, and we say maybe we want to see for this date, maybe you can say I want to filter. Sorry, let me just put a filter, add a filter where date, invoice date, invoice to bill date is equals to today. Maybe you can say even this day, and I apply. So automatically I'll be able to see these invoices for today. So at any given time, I can be able to filter and see how much is the invoice, what has been paid, and what has not been paid. So at any given time, if I want to see all the invoices, I can be able to see this invoice. I can be able to follow it up. Now it was for this, it has been partially paid. How? I can click on it and it can give me a pop-up on that. Are we together?
Yes.
All right, please, any other question? Now, let me show you something on the purchases. I want to unconcile this so that I can refer to it again. And also, notice when you want to add a credit note, automatically it will pick the whole invoice and you can be able to do whether it's a partial refund or a full refund of the same. And then you can be able to do this. And notice, this is not only for the fuel station products. You can be able to do this even for the supermarkets or any other business that can be able to manage, or you can be able to manage through. Now, from here, there is something else called pump purchases. Now, if you come here, there is purchases, Purchases is now when we want to replenish or we want to add some more stock. So what happens, what happens when you're making the purchase? You first do a request for quotation, LFQ. Like for example, let me show you one here. These are purchase. So you come and you select the supplier or the vendor who is bringing you the items, the date, and then you can ask for confirmation from them. So automatically what happens, let's create our own. So if I say create, I'll select here the vendor. Maybe I say it's Total Energies, and maybe the order line is this. I can say maybe vendor reference, maybe is Mr. Abdul. And then I can say the item that I want from this guy is diesel, and I want him to bring me 20,000 liters or 20,000 liters, and it's not tax inclusive. So what will happen when my guys do this? We'll click on save, and automatically it will generate something called an LFQ, which is a draft. So immediately this one is confirmed here. If you confirm the order, it changes now from being an LFQ to a purchase order. And automatically it generates a receipt note, which is called a pick list. Now, if these items we have received, we just come here and say receive products, and we select the station where we are receiving these items, and automatically it will now go and automatically increase the volume or the items that we have in that tank, if it's for the liquids or for the diesel and petrol, or in the stock for the warehouse that we are buying for. So immediately you select this, you generate an incoming pick list, and then you can say validate, or you can set quantities. Set quantities means maybe you are not receiving the full amount or the full quantity that you have on demand. Maybe from 20,000, you are only receiving 5,000. So you can just pay, select that you have received 5,000, then you'll have a balance of the 15,000 that has not been received. So automatically when you see set quantity, you can now say validate for what has been done, and automatically you can be able to receive or to generate a receive note, what we call a goods received note. If you have a return on the same, you can click on return, automatically they will be returned, and you can see how many are returning. You maybe are returning everything, so you just say return, and automatically it will not have increased your stock, and you are good to go. So it's still return, it's like you are reselling or you are resetting everything. And you can be able to print these peak operation lists or delivery slips at any given time. Any other question, please?
What if you have other branches? Maybe you have 4 or 5 branches. How does it work? Can they work from the same system? Can you control from the same system? How does it work?
Yes, you notice anytime here you can create more than one branch. How you create a branch? You come here to settings, and you can be able to define all your companies or branches in users, companies. So like in this scenario, we have 9 companies here or 9 branches here. So what happens when you set this and you set the user who is logged into the system as a multi-user or a company user, you come here and define this. After this, you come to the users and you assign them to the branches that you want them to access. Like for example, I can say my user is Joan, and I can be able to select the default company against the other allowed companies that I want them to access. You notice the same logic. I can say maybe I have another user here, and then I can be able to see only the one company that has been allowed to access, and I can be able to give any other company in case I want. Meaning any user access only the companies that have been assigned by the administrator. And still they can be able to change here depending on whether they have the right. Like if a staff has the right to access all the companies, he or she will be able to see all the companies that she or she has the rights to access from here. Meaning if I have the right for Boostema Universal Traders, I'll just select on that, and I'll only be able to see information about that. Like let's say this. If we say we want to go to Boostema, and we go now to the module for accounting, notice everything now changes. We only see the information for this company. The company has done these transactions,